Hello and welcome to the Veloccino Cycling Podcast, where the best stories have not yet written. Today we are in Port Pollença, Mallorca. As some of your listeners might know, this is my go-to place. Me and my family, we have come here for like many years, mainly for cycling. Usually we stay like in Porto Alcudia or Port Pollença, anywhere in between. And yeah, to this time we're here with like about 15 people or so riding. So I thought it is a great chance to catch up with my good friend from home, actually, Jules, who just started his business here a couple of years ago, has taken over a business a couple of years ago, a bike rental business. So I thought it might be good to find out what's going on in the island, what do you need to know about cycling on the island, and maybe a couple of other tips and tricks and what's going on. Today as a co-host, I have my friend Steven from Germany, so I won't be the only funny accent. So welcome, Jules.
There'll be three of us.
Yeah, exactly. So welcome, Jules, and welcome, Steven, to the show. So Jules, I can't remember when we met, but it's like many years ago, because I'm from Wendover, you were from Kings Langley, right?
Correct, yeah. I think it's through the Velo / Berkhamsted cycling days.
Yeah.
And the events as well. There was a few events, wasn't there? The Bomber in Hillingdon.
Bomber, yes.
Which was probably 18, 19. I think that Andy from Hemel Hempstead kicked those in.
Yeah.
But yeah, mutual friends throughout that area of Hertfordshire and Bucks.
But mainly VC10, right? You were a member, or are you still a member of VC10?
Yeah, the club's kind of been disbanded over the last 3 or 4 years due to COVID, and it's still run. I actually had 7 or 8 lads pop in just about 20 minutes ago before you guys arrived. Yeah. They've just arrived today, all from VC10. So they're over here for a week.
Yeah.
So I'll try and get out with them for a few hours one day this week.
Did you have a good
once
time?
The weather settles a bit.
Did you have a good time? Or have you not been out yet?
No, they arrived today. They literally arrived. One flew in from Vegas on Thursday night.
Oh, nice.
Vegas to London, then changed planes, and then he lives in London, or lives in Tame, just outside Tame. Yeah. But, he looked shattered.
Lovely. But yeah, I think a lot of clubs I don't know, mainly in the UK, but maybe also in other countries, I think really struggled over the COVID time to keep things flowing. So we also see that with like Team Veloccino. There's just a lot of people that have fallen out of riding during that time, or afterwards.
Yeah, I know Swift was a major plus for a lot of people during that time, and I was one of those because I was a firm believer a firm non-believer of the technology before COVID.
Yeah.
I remember my friend used to text me and he said, I didn't finish a race, I crashed. I was like, how can you crash in your garage?
Yeah.
But quite clearly, once I got into Swift, I also joined the group, a team that was formed on Swift during those COVID days, and 2 weeks ago rode with 20 of them to do the 312.
Amazing.
Which is quite incredible. I've met lots and lots of them over the last 2 or 3 years in real life. A good number of them have become really good friends of mine. Speak to a lot of the time during the week, and a lot of them have visited here and brought their families, rented bikes from me. So for me, from that aspect, Swift was a winner. However, I have literally kicked it into touch now, because who wants to ride indoors when you're living on this beautiful island?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe the last 2 or 3 days when it's been like 60, 70 mile an hour gusts, which you two boys have clearly experienced.
Yeah.
But generally, I don't do Swift anymore.
There's like so many topics that you just touched on that I want to dig a little bit more into. Like 312 is this, for those of you that don't know, it's like a fantastic event. Like I think it's all around the island.
It used to be all around the island. There was 8,500 competitors on Saturday a couple of weeks ago. The reason it's not around the island anymore, I believe, I've got to know the owner, a couple of the owner's friends over the months that I've been here, is that there's too many people going through Palma.
Yeah.
The lads that I just touched on from VC10 that were here, they're actually on Monday or Tuesday, they're actually doing the old route.
Yeah.
A bit of nostalgia really, as opposed to doing the new route that's created. So they're going to do that. But it was an event on the 29th of April, 8,500 people, 3 different routes, 167, 225 and the 312. But the original route, as I alluded to, was 312 kilometres around the island, which is some going. I had 4 friends that finished it in just over 10 hours, which is motoring. Yeah,
It's basically
15,000 feet of climbing.
In 10 hours, they basically did
193 miles, I think they did. I think it accrues to that, something like that.
That's about 50 kilometers more than you have done
in your car
in 4 days, or in your whole cycling career, because you only started riding actually 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So, Steven, tell us about your experience on the island here.
Yeah, it was a great experience. Starting out with Formentor Lighthouse tour, 60 km. So that was pretty interesting. But yeah, Niels made sure that I'm okay and didn't get too far behind. And then second day, Sa Calobra, which was like the true experience together with the half Ironman.
Yeah, we called it the baptism of fire, or baptism with fire.
Yeah.
I honestly thought you might never ever speak
Tom Pidcock style.
Yeah, exactly. 22 minutes. You did.
Some people can't even do that in a car.
Yeah, exactly. And so Jules just mentioned it earlier. So yesterday, we were on, like, I think Mallorca is about like 360 360 rain Sundays and sunny days and 5 rain days, and I think we met 2 of those.
I think you met 2 of them,
in one day. Yeah, it was really bad. So we managed to get to Sola, and then Steven's Di2 stopped working, battery was flat, and the weather turned to be horrible, so we decided just to take a taxi.
I just hasten to add that you wouldn't experience that if you rented a bike from me.
Obviously not.
Moving on.
Obviously not. But also, just you're talking about your rental shop. It's slightly different than what you would expect. So because most of the bike shops are like really like high-end bikes.
Very much so.
For the very avid cyclist, whereas your shop is slightly different, which I really enjoy, because when I come here with my family, you are my go-to person.
Yeah. And so I am a go-to person for a lot of clients stroke holiday makers on when I say on the island in this town, because lots of shops recommend me for kids bikes.
Yeah.
We do city bikes, mountain bikes, trekking bikes, etc., etc. We're not just a road bike shop, because in July and August, when it reaches 38 Celsius here for literally 6 weeks, it's too hot to cycle a road bike. What we do have is we have families coming over here, so the mums and dads, husbands and wives, they will come over and rent a bike in the evening, and then they will literally ride to the lighthouse 5-6 o'clock in the morning, back within, depending on their speed, fitness, etc., back within 2 hours, and then they get to spend the rest of the day with their families on the beach, which is a perfect scenario for all involved. You know, that the husband might do it one day, the wife might do it the next, and everybody's happy. And we give them that bike the evening before, because we don't open most mornings until 8:30, 9 o'clock, and by then in the summer it's scorching. So they can take the bike in the evening, leave at 6 in the morning, and it's a fantastic ride for them at that time, because it's still quite cool. Well, when I say cool, it's only 26 Celsius.
Well, that's exactly what we did, basically, right? So I was so grateful. So my wife also rides bikes.
Faster than you, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just checked Sa Calobra.
Even when she was pregnant, faster than you.
Yeah, 10 minutes faster she was up pregnant. So anyhow, that's a different story. So we were here about 2 or 3 weeks ago with our 2 kids, and obviously you can't leave your kids alone, so you can't. Those riding days are over where we go riding together when we go on a family of 4. So for us, it's really nice to have like one bike of yours, where then Hannah goes riding while I look after the kids, or when they sleep or whatever.
Yeah.
And what I really loved, that you also brought us 2 balance bikes.
The kids,
it was absolutely fantastic that they had their, like almost the same setup like we have at home, like their balance bikes. Hannah went riding. I looked after them in the evening when they have dinner. I go out riding.
Oh, it's fantastic. So, I mean, what I expect here, because there's no chance of me ever going back to the UK, because I've got my life here, which is fantastic now. But the opportunity of seeing kids grow and what they'll do, in 10 years' time, I might see your children on a small road bike, drop handlebars, for example, when 10 years prior to that, I was delivering 2 balance bikes. So you see the growth of children, which is great. I mean, 2 kids were here last summer, and they just started road biking because their dad was heavily into road biking. And it's one of my first ever Instagram shots. So the 2 kids went up to the lighthouse with their dad. They were 10 and 12 years old, and they came back and they just stood at my door and just poured water over their heads, and I just took a shot of it. And that was one of my first images of owning this shop. It was within 3 days of me taking over the shop from Ian and Sam next door. It's just wonderful seeing kids on bikes, and it takes me away from that kind of high echelon of road bikes, because I didn't want to enter that field of client. I love, families and children and parents and all that coming here during the summer and taking out these bikes, explaining to them where they can go on this map. This map is priceless for me.
Yeah.
It's something that I introduced when I got here, because lots of clients were asking me, where do I go?
Yeah.
It's all very well explaining when you know the island, but when they don't know it, if they can see a picture there and you can, advise them to take a photo as well, it just gives them an idea of where they can go and where they can't go. So, I love it. It's great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that when when I was here like 2 weeks ago, and I think I came to say hello, and there was a Dutch family picking up the bikes, and
That's
you were
right.
like showing on the map, like, you can go here, and for them it was much more easier to understand, which was really good. So I think, I don't know, I think to believe that the perfect setup for you is almost somebody brings it, maybe the bike either from home or whatever, and then for the other partner they might have like a
we've had
a normal bike.
We touched on the 312 earlier. 2 or 3 days before the 312, we were stacked with clients that bought their bikes from UK, Germany, Scandinavia, wherever they come from, or Northern Europe. And they came here, and because of the volume of bikes being transported, they'd either had their bikes broken by the baggage handlers, or they'd been left on the terminal of the airport that they departed from. So we either fixed bikes or rented bikes out. So it's an opportunity for us.
Also, we have seen, Steven, you mentioned this, I think, like there's how interesting is that one of the couples often is like quite an avid cyclist, and the other half is doing either like on a normal bike or like an e-bike.
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that before, and I almost feel that there's this change over the years also now with the use of e-bike, and I think even more like the island is opening up to more people than just road cyclists.
Yeah.
Hola.
Oh, hello. Hello. She's very friendly.
Oh, I have a doggy at home.
Everybody loves her,
Yeah, well, that's good. I think the two of me.
You can smell my boys, eh? Can you smell my boys?
Hello.
Come on, tea time. Food. Come on.
Bye-bye.
So the beauty of that, for me personally, it's great to ride with a partner who's into cycling as well. If you can ride at the same pace as them, even better. But if your wife or your husband is not as good as their other half, and they need to ride an electric bike, fantastic. It allows them to be out with them all day if they're not here with the family, for example, and it allows them to be together the majority of the day. And then there's less pressure as well. The e-bikes are becoming ever more popular, and I've just bought a few more for this season. I need more, but it's one step at a time with this business.
Also, the more people have e-bikes, the less cars are basically on the roads, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So good. So you do this.
Sorry to interrupt you. You still need your car, because there's a lot of obviously locals here that need to get from A to B for work, etc. But I've also heard in the 12 months I've had the business that a lot of clients since COVID have actually opted for bicycles here when they're on their holidays, as opposed to cars, because generally you get in a car at the airport, you drive to your villa or your hotel, and it's left there for 7 days, 10 days, 2 weeks, whatever period of time your holiday is. And it's also that the price since COVID has increased dramatically. It's almost double what it used to be, and you just think, well, hang on a sec, if I can get a taxi from the airport to my resort, and I can hire a couple of bikes for the week, bit of fitness, if I need a basket or a backpack to put some food in, if we're self-catering, for example, there's a supermarket around the corner. If it means going to the supermarket 2 or 3 times a week in 30-degree weather, it's not bad, is it?
Yeah. Also, one thing that I noticed, and just also from conversation with other people and stuff, that there's always this underlying fear when you get a rental car that you market, and no matter if you have full insurance or not.
100%.
Like most people don't have full insurance, although the car rental companies, they always like to push you towards it.
I did it this year. I flew into Seville to meet some friends in the Algarve and drove 250 kilometers, and when I stopped to get some fuel, I noticed a little bump.
Yeah.
So I immediately took a picture, immediately sent
Yeah.
them to them. But yeah, you're 100% right in what you're saying.
Yeah, so when we have a rental car, we usually just take it to come to the villa, leave it
Yeah.
there, that nothing happens, and then we would much rather
Yeah.
ride if possible, just because
But
you know
also-
these companies.
Also, yeah, but also in this environment, if anyone hits your car,
Yeah.
they are not going to leave a note on it. In any environment around the world, generally, they
No.
won't. But
Yeah.
over here, people don't really care.
Yeah, but
You
also,
see here, look at all the cars here.
Yeah.
They've all got bumps in. They don't care.
also it feels as if the rental companies, they always find something.
Yeah, correct.
That is
Yeah.
really. But let's not talk.
Well, I think they're probably all targeted though to find something, aren't
Yeah.
they?
By the way, if you come to Mallorca and you won't go to Port Pollença or Alcudia, you just figure out you can also take a public bus. There's a public bus from the airport straight to Port Alcudia, and I guess also Pollença maybe.
€10. No, you have
It's-
to change at Alcudia Old Town or the port, but it's that's a great service.
Yeah,
50 minutes from the airport.
It's about €10, super quick. So really, really good considering it's across the whole island. Yeah, we covered quite a lot of things already. Like it's just nice to chat with you. Really, like find it.
I've seen you more
Yeah.
in the 15 months that I've been here than I saw you back home.
Yeah,
I used
Yeah.
to see you back home when you was trying to sell me jerseys.
yeah.
Melly forgot it.
No, I
And
forgot
you
it.
forgot it. Yeah.
So promise your
is
socks
that
and
an
a
age?
jersey.
Is that an age thing or?
It's an age thing. No, it's actually
Or is it-
Steven's fault because he's constantly
It's my
late
fault.
in the mornings. I always want to rush, and he's like the slowest German I've ever met in my whole life.
Wow.
Like, oh
That's
no,
quite-
sorry, I have to apply some sunscreen.
That's quite.
No,
that's
oh
quite an-
sorry, let me just go
Oh,
in.
so you forgot it from your villa, or you forgot it from Wendover, your home,
No, it's in the house. In the house.
your house?
Yeah.
Oh,
I,
here,
I brought like 10 jerseys.
oh, so you are actually
Yeah.
blaming Steven. Okay, fair
yeah.
enough.
No, I have
Okay,
it.
you're blaming it on me,
Yeah.
and you bailed out on Sa Calobra.
I have to explain something here. So it's a British thing.
And the police.
Always blame others for your
Ah,
misfortune.
okay. I was not aware.
Sorry to my listeners from Great Britain. This was not intentionally.
We will cut out, right?
No,
You're more British than German now.
I am.
Yeah.
I am actually. I am. No, unless the breakfast. Like so, whenever we have breakfast, we were with a group
Breakfast
of
or Brexit?
both.
Both.
Breakfast. Breakfast. So every morning, I'm really surprised. So we have a group of 15 people. So I think we have
You
two-
haven't got that many friends. Come on.
No, they're not my friends.
This is the
Like,
whole
it's just
hotel?
Like it just happened. No,
Ah.
so there's like two Polish guys, one German guy, me guy, so like 4 Europeans basically, and the rest is like Brits. And what they eat for breakfast ahead of a ride is revolting. It's like 5 sausages,
Oh. What,
beans,
eat?
eggs, and I'm like, oh my goodness, we are going to ride up like massive climbs. here.
That
This will all
reminds me
come
of a mutual friend of ours. We were doing a ride, a number of years ago now. I don't know if she listens to this, but Amy
Hello.
Schiller, Schillers, hola.
I love her.
I love Schillers.
By the way, I have
I've
2
not
of her
seen-
bikes in my shed for
Do you really?
like
I've not
4
seen
weeks
her for,
already.
Not seen her for a long time, but I rode with her quite often. I remember once we stopped in, was it Marlow? There's a really nice cafe there on an industrial estate,
Yeah.
and we had a breakfast there. And she just had something like fried mushrooms on toast with eggs and God knows what else. And on the way back in Hyde Heath,
Yeah.
there's a pub there opposite the cricket green on the corner.
Yeah. Ah, yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah, we had to stop. Next topic, moving on.
So hi Shillers. By the way, you have sent me a message yesterday to collect your bike. I'm in Mallorca, so you can't come and collect. I'm really sorry.
He's brought it over to Mallorca.
I should have.
He's given it to me to rent.
It should have. I should have. But anyways, did you? So is there like? I almost feel there's like a cycling community of people that live here already, and then you rocked up. Is it easy to like meet, like get to know people?
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of there's a Pollença cycling club, there's a Puerto Pollença cycling club,
Yeah.
and then lots of friends visiting. So there's always, and I met what's his name, Shane Sutton last year, the ex
Yeah.
British cycling coach. Yeah, there's plenty of people here, plenty of people to cycle with. Trouble is, you're always working.
Yeah.
It's a seasonal business. So pretty much from February, March, it's full gas.
I guess that's
Apart from the last couple of weeks, hence why I'm able to sit here with you, because come back in July, this crazy season.
And I guess that's what everybody thinks, right? Back home, everybody like, oh, you just sit at the beach the whole day. So how much percent of your day do you sit at the beach?
None.
That's
Literally
not
none.
so
Not
much.
even 0.1. Literally none.
Do
Do you know how many times I've been to the beach? Well, I go to the beach most mornings with my dogs. Not during season, but from November to March, I'm on the beach every day walking with them for an hour, hour and a half, whatever. But in terms, to be fair, Neil, and be honest with you, I couldn't lay on the beach all day. I prefer cycling or hiking or swimming. I'm not one to just lay in the sun all day.
Any other sport that you've picked up since you're here?
No, I've continued playing golf. I've had a few friends come over in the slightly cooler season, September, October. We've played golf all around the island, stayed in different parts of the island. Left my dogs with my friend Nina in the south, and played golf for 5 or 6 days, which has been fantastic. Just let the mechanic, run the business here. End of September, October is a little bit quieter, so it's a lot more manageable for him. Played a bit of tennis, paddle tennis as well, which is new to me. That's good fun.
This is relatively new, isn't it?
It's very, very popular over here. Very popular. Very popular. Fast and furious, but great fun. And a little bit of swimming here and there.
So good. Well, while you said playing golf, I had like a couple of golf players behind me actually in the plane, and that was really funny because there was this one guy there were 2 different groups, and there were like 2 ladies that actually played golf, and then this one older guy who played golf. And they had in a conversation, and then he was like, "Oh, I'm with my mates playing golf until Sunday, and then they fly home back to England, and on Monday and Tuesday I will go to Piguera for myself." And then the ladies were like, "Be really careful, it's full of Germans." And then he was like, "Oh, why do I have to be careful? What do they do?" And this one lady was like completely shocked that they're always naked. Always. Only time they're not naked is when they go to a restaurant.
What kind of golf are they playing?
That's what I thought. I was like, no, like, shall I out myself? And it's like, yeah, that's what we do. But there was really. I was like, oh, that's funny. There's like a lot of Germans here, isn't it? Is there more Germans or more Brits here?
There's more Germans to the southwest, which is a place called Piguera, and also on the east,
where everybody's
towards Arta, in the east coast, kind of where the 312 heads out now. The new route of the 312. But just like anywhere in the world, there's Brits everywhere, there's Germans everywhere. Lots of Scandinavian here, French, Italian. There's a good mix. There's a lot of Americans here now. Last season, there's a new route open up from I think Newark. I think it flies direct into Mallorca. I think there's 3 a week during the summer, something like that. There's a hell of a lot of Americans here last season, and Canadians as well, which is great.
Crazy.
Because they all love their cycling, and they don't bring their bikes across. Some do. Naturally, but some find me because I've got great relationships with 5 or 6 of the hotels going away from the shop that way that Ian and Sam built over the years, and they've continued with me, which is great for me.
Ian and Sam is where you got the business from, right?
Yeah, the guys next door, they still have the business next door which they're trying to sell. So if you 2 guys want to start a business in Mallorca,
what business is it?
It is everything you need on holiday. So anything from a parasol to air conditioning unit. Mobile scooters, mobile scooters, mobility scooters, everything, anything you need. Guitars, hair dryers. Not that I need a hair dryer.
I need a guitar.
Yeah,
no,
I don't need a hair dryer. That's for sure. Those days are gone. Deck chairs, anything you need. The only thing I haven't got is a set of legs for you to get up Big Major. Next time. I need that. Next time, and an umbrella. They had an umbrella for yesterday.
I don't need an umbrella.
But the umbrella wouldn't have worked. Just even with the wind, it would have just would have gone.
If everything sounds very, very easy now, like when you say like, oh, you just came here, got a business, blah blah. Obviously, you're a Brit, and after Brexit, it must have been a bit more difficult. So, is this you get
painful?
Like some kind of work visa via owning a business, or how does it work?
I've got a self-employed entrepreneur visa. I've also got a residency visa. But it was painful because it was post-Brexit. Nobody knew what they were doing. And the Spanish authorities went on strike for about 14 weeks.
Oh yeah,
and I was in that backlog.
What?
It was very frustrating because nobody had any answers. The Madrid government didn't acknowledge the Spanish workers for 11 weeks out of those 14, and I unfortunately was in that backlog. But no, it all came to fruition in the end, and as I alluded to earlier, it's a fabulous place to live.
It's tough, and if completely different topic. So if a new rider comes to Mallorca, has never ridden Mallorca, like Steven, what would you What are your top tips? Like,
yeah, but
what would you
Stephen's got bike experience though.
Well,
So yeah, but whether it be gravel, cross,
yeah,
mountain bike, he's been on a bike before, hasn't he?
he looks like a cyclist. He looks more of a cyclist than anyone else of us.
But
But-
at breakfast time he doesn't when he's got 5 sausages on his plate.
no.
but
He eats porridge.
we
Good
talked
lad.
about like the experience, and I think I put in 300 kilometers like all of the time, and I came here, and I think we are like 280 or something, or 3.
So out of the 300 kilometers he has cycled in his life, 280 he did here.
Well, you know, you say what advice can I give? I can't really give any because, well, when I say I can't give any, that sounds really bad. But the advice is naturally or expectingly, they've been on a bike before, haven't they?
Yeah.
So I get a lot of people coming here for road bikes they come here for road bikes with flat pedals because they don't have the confidence to switch to cleats that so soon. So they build their confidence up. And it's a great place to build your confidence because the motorists are very kind of sympathetic and considerate and patient towards you as a cyclist. Whereas I know in the UK they're definitely not.
No.
So that builds their confidence. And maybe after day 2 and day 3, they come here and say, "Can I rent some shoes off you?"
Yeah.
We put some different pedals on it, and it builds their confidence to taking the sport a little bit further. It's all about confidence.
Yeah.
I remember back home, there was someone that I did a sportif with once, and she couldn't clip in, and she almost wiped me and my friend off a bike.
Yeah.
She's now got a pro contract.
Oh wow.
So, you know, it's all about experience and learning.
Yeah.
So,
But
yeah.
Steven fell off his bike.
Yeah, I actually fell off. Like we did the half Ironman tour reverse, came up to the garage, and then we were like, okay, like let's do Sa Calobra. Went down there, then went up for the climb. I came to the top. I was completely empty, and I clipped out on one side, stood there, and just fell to the side.
What was that? Not yesterday, Wednesday,
Yeah.
Thursday?
Yeah,
Thursday.
And people were standing around me and were like, are you fine? And I'm like laughing my ass off and was like,
Nice.
I'm having a great time.
It's a lapse of concentration, isn't it? It's the
When you're empty, right?
well, they
It's
say
like-
the worst time you can have an accident on a bike is, say, if you go out with your friends and do 20 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles, whatever you may do, the opportunity for you to kind of crash is casually taking it home.
Yeah.
And clearly, with you at the top, you were tired, but you probably just lost a little bit of concentration
Yeah.
because you weren't concentrating downhill.
Yeah.
You weren't concentrating because you weren't coming uphill. You was just static and you just went, boom.
and then running out of energy and stuff. And I think this is where it's so interesting when you say like the cars are much more gentle here.
100%.
So yesterday I spoke to when we took the taxi actually from Sola back home. There was a very nice taxi driver, Miguel, and his brother is a cyclist as well. And he actually told me it became law to give 1.5 meters distance actually to the riders. The only problem is the locals know it. Tourists don't.
Yeah.
And you see that really often.
The worst of the rental car drivers.
Yeah. Just to come back to your shop, it's not just a rental shop. It's like I think you also have like a really good mechanic in there, right?
Correct. Yeah. We do repairs, servicing, sales, and also island tours as well. Guided tours, because I see a lot of clients. Sorry, when I say a lot of clients, I see a lot of cyclists that then become clients that stop in certain parts of main roads looking at maps because they've just not got the familiarity of the roads or the experience of where they've been before. And I'm lucky in that respect that I've cycled here for almost 10 years on and off. And whilst I was waiting to buy the shop, I was able to cycle literally every day. So I was investigating different routes, and some of those routes are kind of off. Well, most of those routes are off the main road. It allows you to see some of the beautiful parts of Mallorca which you wouldn't see if you just stuck to the main roads, which is what a lot of people do because that's all they know.
Yeah.
So that's a really growing part of my business. I've taken a lot of people out in the first couple of months of this year. That will kind of die down June, July, and August because I'm needed in the store more than out on the road. And then September and October that will pick up a little bit. But it's not a huge part of my business, but it's a nice part because it gives you the variety. The variety of doing something different as opposed to just renting bikes and selling bikes. So it's nice. It's nice for me that, no matter what speed I go, it's nice to get out because it's one of the reasons why I'm here is to be out in the sunshine.
But I also realized quite often when you bring your bike from home, often it gets damaged and stuff. So
Very much so.
especially when you have like an influx. I think we have to stop for a minute. So also we have like an influx in riders, like for the 312, for the half Ironman, for the full Ironman, I guess.
Well, those weekends, there's
Yeah.
so many bicycles that are transported all over Europe, all over the world.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, the airport workers, it becomes on top. So unfortunately, the airport workers, it becomes too much for them.
Yeah.
The volume of traffic going through each and every airport, there's no consideration. I don't believe.
Yeah.
I know my friend went to Tenerife last year, and it just so happens that he was at a window and he saw one of the airport workers with his bike, and he filmed it, and then he saw it thrown onto a trolley. He got it back to the hotel, continued his video going, saw there was a crack in it, went through insurance and got a brand new £10,000 Trek Madone. So they don't care about it. And in the first or the middle of April, up until the event, because people come at different times, we had an influx of people that had either had their bikes broken, rear derailleur hanger, rear mech, whatever it was. We had problems there, but we're obviously happy to accommodate them to get them right for the event that they're participating in.
Yeah, it's really good.
It's nice. It's nice that it's not just a rental business.
Yeah,
there's much more than that.
There's more and more coming to it. I think we spoke about this before we started recording. There's more bits and bobs of business that just happens to just like come out of it that you didn't even necessarily expect.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So people leaving their suitcases and stuff. And it's just really, really interesting.
Storage facilities. Also, there's a number of people that live here that what they don't want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Hello. Storage customer. What they don't want to do is they don't want to come back. They've got holiday homes there. They don't want to come back and continue to rent from me.
Yeah.
So I give them the opportunity to buy from me, which is good for my business.
Oh, that's just really good. You had another question.
Yeah, like what would be, like you said a little bit about the guided tours. What would be your like favorite tour for like a beginner on Mallorca?
I've got a cracking little ride down to a place called Sanau. There's a cafe down there called Sa 13, which I believe a German guy about 15 years ago, he used to drive around the island with a little car. I think he started doing it again this year. And he used to tell, I don't know how he did it, because social media back then wasn't as affluent as what it is now, wasn't as popular as what it is now. But he used to drive around to the island, certain points on the island, with his coffee machine. And on the back of that success, he then opened up this cafe and a cycling hotel.
Oh, nice.
So that is one of my favourite places, because it's a 45 mile loop, 70 kilometres, something like that approximately. And that's more than doable for, I think, the majority of clients that come here. Stop there for a nice coffee, cake, sandwich and whatever. And it's a great little ride because it's very, very quiet. You've got to hit certain points, certain main roads where you've got to get on for half a kilometre to get to the next cami, cami being a lane. But it's a fantastic route. It's one of my signature rides, yeah.
I might do it tomorrow because
it's a super ride, yeah.
Yeah, I need an easy one for tomorrow.
Out to Campanet, follow that Campanet Valley Road, which is a 14-kilometre road, which is very, very quiet, especially on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Go across the motorway into a place called Bougère, and then.
Oh, I know that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cracking route.
That's nice. Yeah, we'll definitely do that tomorrow because my flight is in the late afternoon. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we'll do that. I have to double check until I forgot until what day I booked my bike. Actually, doesn't matter.
Hey, yesterday. Tomorrow.
Yesterday.
Yesterday. Already passing out.
Another question. So, if people want to find you, how do they find you?
Find me on Instagram.
Is it Pro AM Cycle Hire?
Pro AM Cycle Hire. Yep. Mallorca. Or find me on Google. Pro AM Cycle Hire.
And there's like reviews, and you can get in touch with Jules.
Yep. Get in touch with me via email, WhatsApp. Any questions, I'll make sure someone has the answer.
And if it doesn't work for whatever to get in touch, for whatever reason, just send an email to podcast@veloccino.com or reach out to us on Veloccino on Instagram or niels.veloccino with me, and we get you in touch. And yeah, thank you so much.
If you ever come to Mallorca and you need bikes for your family, come and see me.
You know the man.
Tell me that you know Niels, and I'll put your price up.
No, it's really like it's so nice to have like a place where it's not just road bikes, where it's also bikes for your family, because I feel the understanding is even better for if you want to go out riding a little bit more, if everybody is a bit sorted with their own bikes as well. So yeah, Jules, thank you so much.
Thank you,
It was
guys.
really, really
Been a
good.
pleasure.
And thank you, Steven, so much for saying 2 sentences.
Yeah, at least
three.
2. Yeah,
Come on, 3.
now it's 3.
So that was it from the Veloccino Cycling Podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. I will put all the details in the description below. And yeah, thank you so much for tuning in. Tell all your friends about us. Give us some reviews on or feedback on Spotify, on Instagram, anywhere, and yeah, share with your listeners. Also, tell us who you want us to speak to. We have a couple of very high-profile people coming up in the future. They can't talk about too much now, so not as high-profile as Jules, though. But yeah, keep your eyes and ears peeled. So,
Adios. Till luego.
adios. Bye bye.